The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about our HubShout launch program. I'm Chad Hill, and I also have a couple of our marketing team members on the phone with me today. I'm going to try to share my camera here, and I would ask that everyone, we only have a couple people in the webinar today, so I've no problem opening up the mic if people would like to speak, but we will get started here in just 1 minute. Okay, great. Now, as we get going, like I said, if you do have any questions, feel free. I'll keep my eye on the questions screen over here. So if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, or if you would like to raise your hand using the little button to raise your hand, feel free to push that. And if you'd like to ask your question live, then we can definitely unmute you and have your question pop up here. So let me go ahead and jump right in today. Want to start by running through looking at our agenda for today. We've got 4 things on the agenda. One is we want to talk a little bit about an overview of our approach. I want to talk about why HubShout, talk a little bit about the launch team because you all applied for our reseller program and you were referred over to the launch team. This is something new for us, so we are looking for input to make this the most effective experience possible and to help many of you who may be new to SEO or have an agency already but it's not offering SEO, be able to more quickly include SEO and pay-per-click services in your offering, and then talk a little bit about next steps. So I want to start here with the objectives of the launch team. And a lot of times when we do these initial discussions, we like to really open this up and get a better understanding of where you are and your business is and what some of the where you're trying to get, and then what some of the obstacles you're running into are. So I wanted to again talk about specifically what the launch team is all about here at HubShout. So really, we're trying to help you get to a point where you're comfortable and confident selling SEO. You've worked it into your pricing. You feel comfortable creating proposals, incorporating your other deliverables into that, and then when you're out pitching it to clients, that you have enough comfort with our services and SEO in general that you're able to be knowledgeable enough to earn the trust of those people you're selling to and ultimately convert that sale to a win, and then move forward in growing your business. And we found that sometimes just taking someone who's newer to SEO and dropping them with one of our account managers isn't always the best experience because there's some assumptions often made about your knowledge and your ability to sell SEO on day one. So this launch team is all about really helping you get your first couple clients under your belt, SEO or pay-per-click clients under your belt, so that you can start moving forward. There are a couple questions that I'm just going to open up and see if there's any answers that people have on the phone here today. But one is, between SEO and pay-per-click, is there a particular service you're interested in offering? So if you are looking for more of an SEO approach, please either drop that into the questions window here, or if you want to offer pay-per-click, feel free to do that as well. If you have any barriers that you face today, again, if where you want to get, which is a growing, thriving digital marketing agency offering SEO and pay-per-click, but are there any specific things that you're having trouble with, or that you need us to work on with you? Again, this is a new program for us in terms of trying to help you get your first couple clients and having an approach that we really are working on training. So anything you have there would be useful to know. So if we're not seeing any questions, so we'll just keep on going. And then again, what factors are important in your decision? So you may be looking at other companies like ours. Are there certain things that, okay, I got one coming in here, I'm brand new, I'm planning on launching my digital marketing company in November. Excellent, you're in the right place. So we want to help you figure out what you're going to need to know and how to build your pricing so that you can have a successful launch. And then the final thing is here, what factors are important in your decision? So like I said before, you may be looking at other companies. Are there certain things that you're that are important to you, so that we know how to best emphasize those as we put this training program together for you? Yeah, and if you have any, just in terms of any questions that you might have, if there are things that are important to you, type them in. We can always come back to those as we go through the presentation today. Okay, well, I want to start just quickly about us. This is mostly about you, but I want to give you a little bit of background on HubShout. But our story really is told by our resellers. So we have over 250 reseller partners. We only work through the reseller community. We do not have any direct customers. We're US based only, so we have resellers all the way from Miami to Honolulu, so we're basically nationwide. Most of our clients tend to be Main Street businesses. Now, this doesn't mean that they have to be a retail business. They might also be a service business, roofers, HVAC, plumbers. We have a lot of professional services, attorneys, some elective medical, plastic surgeons, and other dermatologists, people like that. So really have a wide range of businesses that we help. And we are proud that we have some businesses, like some of you today on the phone, that are essentially launching from zero, and we've helped those businesses grow to over $1 million businesses. So it's exciting that we take a lot of pride in not only helping the customers on Main Street be able to fight for equal footing in a world definitely dominated by many large corporate giants out there, whether that be Google and Facebook themselves or whether that's other lead generation companies. We want to really help Main Street businesses succeed. But the reality is most of our resellers are also Main Street businesses. Most of them are small businesses, under 10 people in their agencies. And so it's exciting to be able to help you also be successful. Now, one of the parts of our program, so we are a software and a services company. So we have a software product that helps measure the return, measure the activity that's happening on the campaigns that we run for your customers. And that's a big part of, I think, what you're able to go out and offer as a value, that you're going to be able to show transparency with the software that we've created. But at the same time, we do the work. So we're not just a software platform. We actually will suggest and track and monitor all the things that we think are important to track, but we actually will then turn around and do the work to try to implement the campaigns to drive the results that you're going to see with the campaigns that we run on SEO and pay-per-click. SEO is our primary service. We probably see it's probably 70 to 75% of our business. The rest is paid search. We think paid search is a critically important part of our business, but it just so happens that a lot of the people that are coming to us are coming to us first for SEO, and then either upsell or cross-sell pay-per-click, or in some cases they choose to fulfill that themselves or through a different channel. So I want to start first by talking about our SEO services, give you a little bit of an overview of what we do, and then jump into some pay-per-click, and then talk about next steps with the launch team. All SEO starts with keywords, so we want to make sure that we pick keywords that have intent for people to buy, and that are, on one hand, have enough search volume, number of people searching each month, that there will be traffic from those keywords, but at the same time are not so competitive that a new, smaller business website that maybe doesn't have really good rankings, make sure that it's not so competitive that their budget isn't going to move them forward in the rankings. So we always start with the keyword research. This is just a quick example of a few keywords for a PR firm in Chicago. So what we would do is we would take this analysis, which is relevant keywords, and then we would look for keywords that have enough monthly searches. In this case, Web Design Chicago has 70 searches a month. The suggested bid is $14. So what we do is we then take that keyword and the 70 searches and the $14 that it would cost if you were to buy that keyword in AdWords. So it's a proxy for the value of that keyword. And then we also look at the estimated click-through rate of a position 1 ranking, which is 23%-ish. And we say that keyword, a ranking on that keyword, an organic ranking on that keyword, would be worth $223. And so this is just a way that we try to right fit keywords to a client's budget. And this would be something that we would train you on, our methodology, so that you would understand this and be able to really recite this to the customer about how you pick the keywords, and why, if they came to you and said, I want to rank on web design company, and we showed that there were 6,000 searches a month for that and the suggested bid was $14, we could say, hey, look, if you put these numbers together, the value, your budget isn't going to be nearly enough, just in terms of the effort that the budget will afford to actually be able to build enough content and build enough links to actually make that website rank. So if there's any questions on this, again, feel free to raise your hand, feel free to ask in the questions window, and I can stop along the way as we go. So this graph here and chart is really how we go about this. These are the local ranking factors as provided by Moz, and Moz is a trusted research and data provider in the SEO space. We admire all the work they do. They do some really nice studies every year that say what ranking factors are most important. The reason that it's good to look at this is because this is a third-party validated methodology, and so then what we can do is overlay our work on top of their methodology of which ranking factors are most important, and in order to say that the work we're doing is what everyone in the industry believes is most important to get rankings. So I want to run through this and talk about some of the things that we do, especially those things that are differentiated, so that you have an understanding of like how we approach helping get rankings for your customers in their websites. So for a local ranking, the two most important first things you need to do is make sure that you take care of claiming the Google local listing, the Google My Business listing. It's almost 15% of a website's ability to rank, as well as making sure that the NAP information, the name, address, and phone number information across other websites is accurate. And we do that here at HubShout by a partnership we have with Yext. And Yext is integrated into our dashboard, and we can offer their product along with the other services we provide in one place, which is, again, very nice to one-stop shop, and that's how we tend to get the external local signals. The next biggest group here is 21% is on-page signals. So we're going to take a look in a minute at how we address the on-page signals in terms of getting the on-site and technical SEO correct. Then you've got about 18.3% link signals. This is who and how people are linking to you, and it's very important to realize that this is mostly these days about making sure you have quality links to your website, because the days when you could just have a lot of links are no longer really with us anymore. You need to have the right kinds of links. And I should also mention that under the covers here on-page signals, one of the important factors here is domain authority, which is also related to links. So we're going to talk about links a lot here. Then you have review signals. So this is making sure that you help get your client reviews. This is something we generally don't touch as much. We recommend that it's part of your offering, but we've just found that, again, as the intermediary between, as a reseller, there's you and then there's a client, that it's sometimes very difficult for us to try to facilitate getting reviews. And these aren't fake reviews. We need the business to really be diligent about building into its process a way to solicit reviews from customers. And then all this blue stuff is social. And we, again, we don't do a whole lot in the social space, but it's important that your clients, as part of your overall marketing strategy, that you're incorporating social to make sure that they're getting social signals. And it's been fairly well proven that a tweet or a Facebook like doesn't directly connect to rankings, but brands who tend to have good social engagement tend to also have high site engagement, have higher click-through rates, and those are factors that then kind of circle indirectly back to the rankings. Okay, just checking the questions here. Okay, so I mentioned on-site SEO is one important thing. So in the first month that we work on your clients' campaigns, we will go in and analyze the website, and we'll actually come back with very specific recommendations about what we think they need to make, changes they need to make to the website. We allow you, it comes back to you in our dashboard, and this is a screenshot of one of the screens that we have, and you basically have the chance to look at this and to to review it, and assuming you agree with everything in here, we will then take this and implement this on the client's website. You have to give us their login access to their WordPress site or to whatever kind of site they have, assuming it's a CMS that we are able to manipulate, and then our team will actually go in, make the changes. Our QA department will then check to make sure that the changes they made were correct, and you'll get one final look at it before we stamp the project complete. But this is really important in the first month, because this oftentimes will get a website in that is not well optimized, and just by making very simple changes to the website, we're able to move rankings from nowhere into at least the first 6 or 7 pages. Now, you're not necessarily going to be on page 1 after you make these changes, but it's a very good initial indicator that, hey, we know what we know what we're doing, and by extension, you know what you're doing, and you can take those results back to your client. Once that on-site project is implemented, we start again in the first month, but going forward, building links to the client's website. And what I want to take you through now is one of the ways that this is something that we do that we believe is really unique in the industry. And I want to spend just 1 minute talking about how we arrived at this approach. We do a lot of our own SEO for HubShout.com, and one of the things that we recognized was that a lot of times the best links that we were getting were when we had facts and statistics. Other websites are very willing to maybe link to you if you're citing an interesting fact or statistic, or you've created an interesting infographic, something that's shareable and useful. They're less likely just to link to you randomly and say, hey, if you want SEO services, link to these guys. So you have to sort of think about where can you add value to allow other people to want to link to your website. Well, we took at that and said, this is really interesting. We spent a lot of money on this. How is this really relevant, or how can this be used for small businesses? And so one of the things that we did is we looked at this and said, well, what if we could go out and pre-establish relationships with news sites, and then that would be able to use our clients' facts and statistics in their news, so that they were sharing and linking back to our client. And so that's really what I want to take you through today, is one of what we call our publishing partner and featured news program. And I want to walk you through why this is pretty unique, and again, most people are not doing this on the small business side. So what we do is, the first thing we do is we create content for your client's website. And I should say, this isn't for all programs, so you need to make sure you look when you go through pricing that this is in the pricing program that you select from us. But our writing team will create compelling on-site content, and within that content, we're going to include facts and statistics that help support that information. So here's an example that we wrote for a law site. Systems and new forwards make speeding just about impossible. And what we did is we included not only a fact in this blog post, but we also included what we call here a visual asset, which says that in 2013, speeding was a factor in 29% of motor vehicle crash deaths. Now, we included this because we're like, that's a pretty interesting statistic, and we think we might be able to use that down the road in order to get a link back to this client's website. So then with featured news, what we do is, this is a deliverable that we would then do later on. Our publishing partners request a story on a breaking news topic. So these are all these relationships with community newspapers and business associations where we've pre-arranged a relationship where they want us to write content for their audience. This is not necessarily to promote your client, but they want us to write content for their audience, and we have permission, when applicable, to include facts and statistics that help support those stories. So now what we do is our writers are going to use those facts and statistics to write the story, and then we're going to link back to the client's website. So this is what this looks like. What you have here is Wave Newspapers. This is a website out in the Los Angeles area, and we wrote a story for them about California drivers rejoice as amnesty program is introduced for unpaid traffic tickets. So our content team created this story for them, but in that story, they wanted to include the fact that in 2013, speeding was a contributing factor in 29% of motor vehicle crash deaths, which then references back to that law firm's blog site. So we have a higher domain authority website linking back to the client's website, which is going to then, that counts as a vote for that website. It's going to improve its domain authority, and it's going to make it easier for that website to rank on its target keywords. So again, if you have any questions about any of this, please drop them in the chat window here, the questions window, and we'll definitely cover them. Now, this is just one example of SEO deliverables that we offer. So again, publishing partners are unique to what we do, but there's a couple other things that we can do depending on the client and the client's budget. Now, I know you mentioned you're launching your agency in November. Did you have a target in mind in terms of the size of business that you'll be targeting? Are these smaller businesses with $5,000 to $1,000 budgets for SEO, or are these larger clients? If you let us know, we could include that. We could talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so got small to medium-sized businesses. So, the publishing partner program is going to be a really good value in terms of, one, having a higher domain authority link back to the client's website, and then two, being able to have some level of consistency that you'll know every month we're going to be able to deliver those results. If you had maybe a bigger client or you had somebody who was looking for something a little different, one of the other kinds of things that we can do is we can help with what I call boutique link outreach services. So what we do there is we help either create or grade assets on their website to say how shareable are these, and if they're shareable assets, and these could be buzz graphics, these could be scholarship programs, these could be charitable events that you're a part of. So anything that that's newsworthy and that's going to be compelling to other local businesses or other national blogs, we can actually email out on behalf of that business and say, hey, this is happening. We'd really like it if you could promote this. We'd be happy to maybe contribute something to your website. So that's another service we offer. But again, this is something fairly custom that needs to be for a larger budget. The other deliverable we have from an SEO standpoint for getting links is we have our HubShout Media Network. Now, this is something that we built over the last 8 years. We don't currently add new sites to our media network, but it is something that we still have. We're mostly focused on the publishing partner program and the featured news that I mentioned and showed you a minute ago. But the HubShout Media Network is a spot where we have more flexibility to get some targeted anchor text, which is going to help improve the rankings of the client. Okay, and then that's it on SEO for now. Just again, we want to give you a taste of kind of what makes us different and how we approach things. I want to touch on pay-per-click really fast. So pay-per-click, the nice thing about pay-per-click and the way it complements SEO is that SEO takes time to get the results. So we typically want to set clients' expectations that 9 months is really where they need to be in terms of expecting a positive ROI. It doesn't mean that before that 9 months they aren't going to see results and they aren't going to see things moving through the rankings. It's just that unfortunately in SEO, unless you're really on page 1, you're not getting a whole lot of traffic. So going from page 8 to 6 to 7 to 5 to 4, those are all great milestones, but until we get you to until we can get you closer to page 1, you're not really going to see a lot of traffic from those terms. The beauty of paid search is that we can have somebody up and running very, very quickly. And so what sometimes we recommend is that when you talk to your client, get an understanding of what their time frame is. And if they tell you like, hey, I need leads next month or the month after, don't sell that customer SEO. They will not be able to see leads in 1 to 2 or 3 months. You should definitely say, look, I hear you. SEO is probably going to have a better long-term ROI for you, but I hear you saying you need leads in 2 to 3 months. We really need to be looking at something like paid search or social ads, some type of advertising program where you can very quickly generate results for them. So we have a team of paid search analysts. They're all Google AdWords certified. They focus on pay-per-click all day long. And pay-per-click is one of those things that, and we just had somebody in a webinar yesterday talking about this. At first you think, oh, well, I can have an intern or my son or my nephew or whoever it is, or maybe my admin, maybe they can handle the paid search. But really, you need to be an expert at this. You need to be in paid search every day. You need to know where the pitfalls are, where you can just waste money very quickly. And our team knows that. We work on this every day, and we're very focused on making sure that we try to bring positive results to your client. One of the ways that we do that is in our dashboard, we track your client's projected budget as well as what their estimated cost per action is. And so what our team is doing is every day they get a score on how close they are to hitting that client's goal for the month. And then what they do is we're constantly adjusting and making sure that we're working on that campaign and communicating with you to make sure that we're doing our best to hit that client's goal. So paid search and SEO are really complementary. And the other nice thing about paid search is that if you have a new client who has only just started working in digital marketing, you may not know what the conversion of their website looks like. So you could spend all this time optimizing a website for a keyword that when you actually rank on it doesn't really convert the customers you thought they were going to as they would. So paid search again is a very quick way to experiment and learn which keywords are important. And then, you know, if you have a new client who's new to digital marketing, run paid search for 3 months, then look at which keywords convert and then start building SEO around that. That's a great way to go. Okay, into some of the meat of the matter here, and again, wanted to give you a nice background on HubShout and how we kind of approach our different services. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to jump in. I don't see any right now. The other thing that I did want to touch on is just pricing plans. So local SEO we usually start that at $269. That also includes the Yext listing, and we can send you a more detailed pricing sheet after this call, so you can look through our prices at a more granular level. The SEO news program, these are the SEO programs that tend to include the featured news deliverable that I mentioned a few minutes ago. So this is where we're incorporating your clients' blogs with the news cycle and getting links from higher authority websites. So generally, I really recommend this as a great place to start for a lot of businesses, and you can add Yext onto this, which is going to put you up at around 294 plus 40 is going to put you at 234-ish for adding the SEO news plus a Yext listing, which is going to get you our local listing service, which is going to get you a Google My Business claiming that, and then taking care of your Yext listing. So that's SEO news, and all these plans go from these intro price points up to probably $2,000 or so is where most people max out. We have some higher end plans if you want them, but they start on the small end and go up from there, all based on the keyword research and stuff that we showed you earlier. The national SEO plans start at $459, and then pay-per-click starts at $199, and that's for the management fee. So that would be our management fee. Then obviously the client would pay for the media. We typically get them to put their credit card in on Google. All this stuff is white labeled, and that's how it goes. And again, this is the wholesale price. So most of our resellers would tend to mark up or double these prices. So there's about 50% going to fulfillment to us, and there's another the other half or doubling of that prices would be your markup to cover obviously your sales and marketing and account management. And just on one note on account management, the way this tends to work is that usually you're going to start in our launch program, which is why we're talking today. But as you start bringing customers on, you would be assigned an account manager who would be your day-to-day contact. They're not going to speak directly to your customer. You're going to take that first tier customer service, but then you'll be able to turn around and interact with our account manager to handle the issues across your portfolio of clients. Okay, great. And we had a couple other people join here. I just wanted to again let you know that if you do have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I can unmute you to ask questions, or pop a question into the question window there, and I will make sure that we either address it or that we'll address it here on the webinar. Okay, any questions about pricing or how that works? All right, we'll keep going. Now this is just a sample grid here of one of our national SEO plans, but I think the idea, what we're trying to show here is just that as they're very much building blocks. So as you move up in price point, you're going to see that you get more deliverables. And I think this actually, unfortunately, the actual price got cut off, so we'll have to look into that here. But you can just see that we start off on a basic plan. This is the one that was $459, and this has one on-site blog and 4 articles. And then as you move up in through the price points, you're seeing that there's just basically more effort. And what that allows us to do is, if we're writing 4 articles and you have maybe you're focusing on 10 keywords, we'll be able to hit 4 of those keywords on a monthly basis and get something out on the web about 4 of your 10 keywords. But if you tried to target, and the reason we kind of, these plans go along with keyword competition and also number of keywords, is that you could probably see that if you only have 4 pieces of content going out a month and you're targeting 20, 30, or 50 words, at some point it's going to take you too long to rotate through all the words you're targeting. And what will ultimately end up happening is that the campaign just won't proceed fast enough. You'll make a little progress, but your client's just never going to get to where they want to be. And so we try to be more focused. There's different philosophies. I think our philosophy is much more, let's focus on, in this case of the basic plan, 10 keywords that really matter and really focus on those. There's other people that kind of take the sort of spray and pray approach, where it's like, we're going to target 100 keywords and we're just going to hope that by luck, if we target enough of these keywords and make enough on-site changes, that we'll see results. And Our approach is definitely more on a focused level. We get very, very disciplined about making sure that the keywords we pick have the right content on the website. We have weekly meetings that we call our keyword council, where we're looking at, do we have keywords that aren't currently ranking? What are we doing to make sure that the content is getting on the website properly? And those are all discussions we're going to be having with you. We can do things like, for example, if we saw that you had 3 keywords that weren't ranking at all, we might say, look, rather than writing 4 articles that are going to go off-site for backlinking purposes, let's take that content, 3 or 4 of those articles, and let's actually write better services pages on the client's website. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times, if you can just get the right content on the website, the ranking will come in. It may not be on page 1, but it'll start to show progress, which is what you want to be demonstrating to your client, that you're moving the needle and making things happen. Okay, so we'll send you the full pricing document, full PDF here, and you guys can feel free to look through it, and then you'll be able to interact with us. Okay, so here's how the launch program works. We have, in order to join our program, there's a $199 non-refundable deposit. Now, we will credit this back to you when you bring your first client on. So typically, there's a bit of setup for us to get your portal set up and to start working with you. And so we just want to make sure there's a level of commitment on both sides. And so we will want you to come on as a customer. This also handles all the confidentiality when you sign our master services agreement. It covers things like, confidentiality of your customer list. So, it allows you to feel more comfortable via the master services agreement to be, exposing your leads to us and us working with you, and defines just all the necessary stuff from the business relationship. So that's the first step. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, we had a few people join here a little later. The launch program is something new to us. This is something we're testing, because in the past, if we had a reseller come to us and maybe didn't have SEO clients today, or maybe was at a price point lower than what would make sense for us to be able to support them with, we would typically say, hey, it's not a good fit for us. So what we're trying to do with the launch program is to basically invite you guys in and work with you on a couple things. The first place is we want to get you set up with your portal. So this is a great way to demonstrate the software to your prospects. We also have the ability to create online proposals in the software. So it's a good way to start building out proposals, doing keyword research. That's all in our dashboard. So you get access to your own private labeled portal, which you can start using for customers. We're going to have ongoing seminars like this one today. This is very much an introductory one, but we want to focus on programmed webinar training series where we get on the phone and we talk about, and again, they can be as collaborative as you guys would like, but we want to go through and talk about putting together proposals, how to pitch proposals, and these would be things done, again, with a group of other people in our launch program. We do also have a daily Q&A session that we run at 4 o'clock every day. That's run by our customer service department, but we do have people drop in all the time to ask questions about using our software, or maybe a question about doing keyword research. So that would be open to you to participate in every day. We will also then have some one-on-one sales assistance. So we're still working out how this exactly will work. We're going to have, initially, we'll help you create 5 client proposals. Okay, so this would be, you give us a couple of your clients, we're going to help you do an audit of their website, identify some low-hanging fruit that they might be able to fix to build some trust when you go to pitch the proposal to them. We will also do keyword research to look for keywords that we think are the best given a competitive set in that market. We'll also be able to benchmark them against competitors. So we'll be able to give you some really solid data that when you go in to talk to these customers or prospects, you're going to be armed with some really good information that they should want to know. And so that will help you do that. And we'll help you do 5 of those. And then we're going to help you also assistance on making the pitch. So if you want to practice your pitch with us before you go with your client, we'll be available to do that as well. So again, we're going to be able to help you initially for joining the program with 5 of these proposals. If you need more help than that, we can talk and figure out what makes the most sense, but that's what we can provide initially. Our goal at the end of the goal of the launch program is to graduate from it and be assigned either to customer service or to our account management team. So we want to help you get your first couple customers, answer any questions you have, and then get you to the point where you're working with either an account manager or a customer service department. So any questions on this so far, feel free to let me know. Great. Our plan as of now is not to have you're not going to have an assigned contact. We will be working this as a pooled group. So again, it's myself, I'm Chad Hill, one of the co-founders. We also have Nick Weiss, we have Ellen Gipko, and Angelina Hilton will also be helping us out. So there'll be 4 of us kind of manning the stations here, helping out where you need requests. We're going to have a group inbox that you'll be able to email to ask for questions and help. And then as you get further along in the process, we'll get you into the dashboard where we have a support ticketing process built into that. So if you have any questions, again, please let me know. Oh yeah, so Angelina asked a question here. What's the difference between customer service and account management? So account management, you have a dedicated account management person. This is typically for anyone who has $450 a month in customers on a recurring basis. So you have a dedicated account manager there. And if it takes you a little bit longer, so we're hoping that, through the launch program, that we can get you pretty quickly to that 450. Really, that means you probably need to be able to sell 2 customers. Even if you're selling the most base product, the 269 product, you need 2 customers to get you to 450. If you start off with one of our national programs, that's already above 450. So if you just sell 1 customer, you should go directly to an account manager. But if some of you get started, it's taking a little longer than you want, and maybe you get that first customer, but it's going to take a long time to get the second customer, we're going to have you work with our customer service department. They are very capable, but it is pooled support versus a dedicated person working on your campaign. Yeah, so Samuel, yeah, we got a question here. What's your average time on completed to complete the launch program? Well, as I mentioned a couple of times, this is new to us. We're hoping it's very fast. That's our goal, is to get you keyed up and armed with the right tools that you need. We have a lot of tools that we've built. We just wanted to provide the training and some of the guidance to get you there. So our goal would be to make that happen pretty quickly. Let's see here. But I mean, realistically, if you're really coming in and you're launching a new agency and you don't currently have leads, I would imagine this is going to take you 2 to 3 months probably to really kind of work through the typical sales cycle, learn what you need to learn, go identify some leads, put some proposals together, go pitch those proposals, work through the decision cycle because, depending on the customer, some may say, let's go today, some might need a lot of time. So that might take, I would imagine, 2 to 3 months. All right, let me see here. We got some good questions coming in. Okay, yeah, thanks. Glad that we answered that question for you. Yeah, so Angelina asked, good questions, Angelina. Prep work meaning, what type of prep work is needed to make a good proposal? We touched on this a minute ago, but I think that would be another topic that we would cover in a future webinar. But generally speaking, we just had a great webinar yesterday with we had a sales coach or sales training coach come in and do a webinar for the team. So if for any of you who are interested in hearing getting a little bit more about sales training, go check out our website under resources, webinars. We had a webinar yesterday and it's recorded on our website. It's very interesting. But bottom line is that you need to have a discussion with your client, understand what they're trying to accomplish. In some ways very similar to the presentation we've just gone through today, where you have a chance to gather important information, listen a lot, and then identify what their problem is, where they want to get, what the barriers to getting there are, and then obviously coming back, doing some research so that you can help them solve their problem, and then also make yourself look smart along the way. So that's why I talk about things like going back with a couple ideas on keywords that they might want to target, or identifying some obstacles that they currently face with by doing an audit of their website and how a very basic digital marketing audit, or also going back and looking at where they fit relative to their competitors. So we're going to cover that in the launch program. Great. So another question here is, do you help with the creation of websites and social platforms to help obtain clients. So we do not build websites. We used to, but we don't build websites currently. A lot of what our partners that we work with do one of two things. Either they are web designers to start with, and so that's kind of why they're starting to offer SEO. And if they're not, they're just kind of coming this new and they have a lot of digital marketing or a lot of sales experience or believe they can make things, can sell the services. They'll either find another partner to help with websites, or they'll, or in many cases, people just don't build new websites to start with. They'll actually take the client as is and not suggest rebuilding the website to start. Okay, great. I think I handled all the questions that were in here, but if anyone does have any other questions, feel free to drop those in and we'll cover them here. So I'm going to move along just to really, this is pretty much the purpose of our webinar today was to cover these topics. Really the next step is we'll follow up this webinar today with an email to give you some more information on our pricing, and then we'll also send you some more information about how to sign up for our reseller program, but specifically for you, how to sign up for the launch program. And then again, our plan is to continue working with you to provide the services that I listed on the previous slide in order to help you get going. So that's all I have today. If there are any questions, more questions, feel free to drop them in the window. We'll give everyone a few minutes to gather their thoughts, think of what questions they might have. And I will also plan on we'll send out the recording of this just so everyone has it for their records. And if you feel like rewatching something that I talked about today, you'll have that at your disposal. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so I just wanted to thank you again for your interest in HubShout. And again, thank you for being here today. If you have any follow-up questions, you can email us at launch@hubshout.com. We'll be there, and you should be getting an email from us again shortly with the follow-on to sign up for our reseller program and get going here with our launch curriculum. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.